Live, it's the Bison Football Show. Valley News Live and Gate City Bank present the Bison Football Show with head coach Chris Klieman.
It would have been the biggest win only because it would have got us into the final 8, not because it was against North Dakota State. We beat North Dakota State before. We respect North Dakota State. I'll leave it at that.
Well, an emotional game was played in Fargo in the second round of the FCS playoffs. SDSU thought they had the Bison beat, but the Bison have a bunch of kids who know how to win, no question. They know how to close out a game, and I know this. The officials from the CAA will not be getting any Christmas cards from North Dakota, I can promise you that. We welcome to the set head coach Chris Klieman. And, Coach, just talk about the emotions of the playoffs. I think we all have a few extra gray hairs today.
Yeah, we do. What a great game in the Fargo Dome, and so pleased for our guys to step up and make plays late in the game. And that's what it came down to, is just playmakers had to make plays. And we had some young guys make some big plays. And what a great drive by the offense to get that last touchdown. And then great play by Trey Dempsey to secure the win. You
know, South Dakota State did have a nice plan. Did you get the sense that they were going to do something different for this game, which they did offensively? Yeah, they've got so many multiple things they can do on offense, and I thought they had a great plan of getting Zenner into the Wildcat, which they hadn't shown us since 2011, and they did a nice job. We adjusted to it at halftime, and I thought did a better job in the second half, but we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. I think everybody did. Hey, Coach, now the second half is ready to go here. What adjustments were made at halftime? Well, obviously on defense we had to adjust to the Wildcat, and then on offense I thought their defense did a good job in the second quarter of shutting us down, and we had to just kind of tweak some blocking schemes and decide what we could do throwing the football. You got the ball to start the half, too. It ended up being a punt, but talk about how that can be a momentum changer when you start the half with the ball. Yeah, we need to try to do something. You know, the first series of offense and defense in the second half are so critical, even if it just flips the field position. So, but I thought they made some adjustments as well, and this was that whole game of the chess match, is who would make the final adjustment.
You know, RJ's touchdown was huge. Still came off to the sideline and was like, holy crap, there's still 54 seconds left. So told the defense to go finish this game, and Trey came up big the next play.
We practiced that play a lot, and I was really expecting it. Coach gave us a good play. I was right there to get the interception.
It sounds cheesy, but it's kind of something you dream of a little bit. You know, we've been fortunate enough over the season to be up at the end quite a few times, and you know, we've practiced the 2-minute drill so many times. We've used it a couple times here and there at the end of half and stuff, but finally get out there and execute it. Man, it was it was a lot of fun. That's all I got to say.
My Wolfpack brothers, they always got my back, and they looked at me when we were going back on the field, and they were like, no doubt. And just kept me composed, so I was ready for the opportunity.
It's time to show everyone that we're the real deal. And, you know, a lot of people might say we're average a lot. Today we said it's time for us to be great and show the world that we're great, and, you know, we got it done today.
Zach had an injury. It's a hamstring. Obviously, maybe don't know all the details yet, but a significant injury that kept him out of that game and may sift into this week as well.
Yeah, we'll learn quite a bit more today, but most likely he'll be out this week. And so those other guys like RJ and Trevor and Kerry, they've got to show up and make plays. And when you get to the playoffs, everybody's nicked up a little bit. And the next guy's got to be able to step up and make a play, and that's what we do with Bison football.
Well, tell us a little bit about this RJ Urzendowski. I mean, you know, he makes catches, he gets open, but he comes from a high school in Omaha Creighton Prep, a big high school down there. They play big-time football in Omaha. Did you expect this from him as a true freshman?
Well, we knew in fall camp that he was really a special football player. He was catching those balls that he caught on Saturday against CJ, against Champ, and against Zach. So we knew he was a good player, but to show up on a stage like it was yesterday, the stage wasn't too big for him, and like I told him, he's not a true freshman anymore. He's 13 games into this, and he's playing like a seasoned veteran.
And talk about his skills, because he's not a burner, but yet he finds a way to get open every time. He creates space.
Yeah, and he's faster than you think. And he's got great moves at the line of scrimmage, and if there's a ball in his vicinity, he's going to find a way to come down with it. Unbelievable hand-eye coordination.
Let's break down the defensive effort now. Of course, this is the first game without Travis Beck. But look at the production there, and including Nick DeLuca, who had 6 total tackles, played very well. But assess the defense in that first game without Beck.
Well, I thought we had a great plan. I thought Coach Jensen, the defensive coaches, had an awesome plan. We had a very good football team. They were under 300 yards of total offense, and so I thought we played exceptionally well on defense, and just continuing on in the playoffs. You know, losing Travis really hurts us, but whether it was Trey, whether it was Nick, because those are the two guys that are really coming in for him, they stepped up and made some plays, and are going to have to continue that as we move forward.
And I think it's important to note the team totals in this ball game, Coach, from an offensive standpoint, because the Bison are the #1 team left in this field at 255 yards allowed per game. That's a very good number. South Dakota State barely got above that number, so I think it's important to show the numbers from this game. The Bison had over 400. You kept the Jacks under 300, even though it seemed like they were running the football very well. Those were tough yards.
Yeah, and Zenner's longest run was 17, and you look at Zenner notoriously, you know, whatever, Montana State, he had a 60, an 80, a 70. We just had to prevent the big play, and we were able to do that. And you hold any offense under 300 yards, you're playing really good defense.
And I thought the production in the running game was outstanding again. And I thought one of the key plays in the game was when John Crockett, right after they had taken the lead, the first play, he drug half the Jackrabbits roster for about 12 yards. The running game was fantastic when it had to be.
It really was, and John was special. He was dominant, and he was determined, and we were going to give him the ball 4 straight times when they had those 3 timeouts if we had to, because he was going to get us a first down with great blocking up front by the offensive line and tight ends.
Now, curious about the leadership, too. You know, sometimes in a huddle when the game's on the line, the season's on the line, the weight of the world is on these kids' shoulders. They delivered, but who in the huddle is taking charge? Is it Carson? Is it John Crockett? Is it a collection of everybody?
It's a collection of everybody, but they understand Carson's the leader of that huddle, and he gets them calm and could lead us on a drive. And then defensively, we've got so many seniors on defense that everybody kind of takes control of that defensive huddle. But you can tell our leadership and our experience in games like this really paid dividends.
Boy, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to win those games as well and survive and advance. That's all that matters. It doesn't have to be pretty or whatever. Just advance in the bracket. The Bison do that. Well, coming up, we're going to talk about Kyle Emanuel and his bid for this Buck Buchanan Award. It's coming down to the wire with when that award will be announced. We'll talk about his greatness a little bit more. Welcome back to the show. We're going to continue the Buck Buchanan talk today. It's the top award for a defensive player in the nation. The voting happened prior to the playoffs and will be announced on December 15th. Kyle Emanuel is the frontrunner. He would be the first Bison to ever win this prestigious award. In this week's Olaf Anderson Construction feature story, we take a deeper look into the greatness of Kyle Emanuel.
We played, he's the best player on the field right now. I mean, he's a freak.
He's such a smart football player.
He shows our young kids the right way to play the Bison football.
The praise for Kyle Emanuel can go on for days, and it's gone national. The Buck Buchanan Award finalist ranks 3rd nationally for sacks with 16 solo, and he's 2nd in the nation in tackles for loss.
Not only does he know our defense inside and out, but he knows the opponent's offense inside and out by the end of the week.
He's found a way to pressure offenses and find their pulse, racking up 9 quarterback hurries, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 passes defended this year.
And again, it's Kyle Emanuel.
What does my tackle like to do? What does this tight end, how does he like to block me? What does the quarterback like to set up in the pocket? And that's kind of how I approach things. I let the secondary linebackers worry about formations and coverages and stuff like that, and I try to attack it more personally.
There's something to be said for a personal touch in preparation. Emanuel took on a new defensive ends coach this year in Jamar Kane. The former defensive coordinator at Wyoming describes it as a collaborative effort and encourages Emanuel to take what he sees.
A guy like that, if you allow him to be him, he'll succeed. If you put shackles on him, he's not going to succeed the way he should.
Where Emanuel has most impressed this season is in the growth of his production. His junior season was highlighted by 47 tackles and a team-high 10 for loss. This year, he has as many solo stops as he had total in 2013 and 28 tackles for loss.
He just competes. He's always fired up to be out there. It brings a lot of energy to the rest of the team.
So that's just his technique and him working hard in the weight room and the film room, and he's a guy that works hard.
The more you prepare, the more calm you can be, the more confident you can be. And that's another thing this year. I've started to be more confident in myself.
It's paid off. The accolades can be read for days, and the stats are ever growing. But the mission has never been personal for Emanuel. He's focused on doing his job to keep NDSU on top. For the Bison Football Show, I'm Beth Houle.
Coach Kyle's always kind of been in the shadow of the guys like Cole Jurek and Coulter Boyer and that group. But when he got his chance to be the feature guy, boy, has he delivered.
Well, we played him a lot more snaps this year than he's played in the past, too. And all those individual awards and all the things he's done are remarkable. But he's a team guy first. And what he can do to make our defense better is his first priority. But I think at the end of the year, he's going to receive an awful lot of accolades. And he's got a chance to play at the next level. And he's going to graduate in December. He's had an unbelievable career and capping it off by having a remarkable senior season.
You know, those awards are all about stats all the time. He's delivering the stats this time, though, and the Bison defense has been so good all around. Maybe there hasn't been a guy that stood out statistically, but he is this year, which is great for his prospects for this award, isn't it?
Great for his prospects. And you got to realize with the way our offense controls the football, we're only out there for 55 to 60 plays sometimes, and then he's still getting the tackles for loss and the sacks and the hits on the quarterback, which is really hard to do when you look at some schools where a kid's out there 80 to 85 plays. Kyle's doing it, being out there 50 plays a game.
That's a great point. In this week's Peterson Farm Seed Future Crop of Bison, we have a tight end prospect. Marcus Collins was a heavily recruited player out of high school, comes from Madison, Wisconsin. He is redshirting, and he is definitely still adjusting to the Bison program.
It is not easy by any means. I mean, I can't imagine it's easy anywhere else, but at the same time, our hard work and everything we're doing here is really paying off. So, I mean, it's definitely the hardest grind I've ever been through. Can you see that what you're doing is the same thing that all the people that are playing are doing, and that's the result they're getting. So it's, I mean, you're excited to get like essentially the same result and or a better result, hopefully, by doing the same work and just by keep I don't know, trucking through it.
Hey, Coach, he enrolled early. Is that common for freshmen now to enroll in January and maybe get some more time in school, maybe more than a true freshman usually gets?
Yeah, you don't see it. That's our first situation with Marcus. I think it was beneficial for him to find out what college was like and get into our weight room and our program, and he's got a bright future, but it's neat for him to talk about what he sees with the upperclassmen and how they're supposed to do it, and you can tell it's rubbing off on these young guys, and he's got a bright future.
Well, here comes the former business CEO again, back to Fargo. Coastal Carolina coming back to Fargo for the second straight year. We'll break them down. Stay with us. It's an early game. Coastal Carolina, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, national TV, ESPN. Coach, a quick comment about Coastal Carolina.
Really good offense, productive team. We need Bison Nation to show up like they did yesterday. Fan support was dynamite. Crowd noise was great. We need it again next Saturday.
Coastal Carolina ran 95 plays in their playoff game. They're pretty good offensively. It'll be a great game. Enjoy this run, everybody. It's a great time for the Bison. We'll see you next week.